Hi guys, very good evening to all of you. So welcome again in this video number 597. My name is Ajay Parmar and I'm back here to discuss more about the dashboard. So we have started this series, the advanced level series, and I hope you have seen my previous video also, which I uploaded, video number 595. I think 595. If you haven't seen that, please go and watch it. So you're watching youtube.com/c/Ajay Kumar Parmar, and we have got here 597 videos on Excel, VBA, Access and Access VBA. So what we are going to do today, so I'm going to show you how we can make the agent performance dashboard, and you can go and see the numbers basis yearly, basis monthly reports, and basis daily, right? So this is going to be a one-page report, and this is really going to help you a lot, right? You can take a lot of great the ideas from this video. So let's go and start. Now guys, this is the dashboard I'm talking about. You can see here I've got here 2017 2018 data, and then we have here specific date calendar also. Wow, this is amazing, isn't it? And then you have the the manager names over here. So if you go and select some manager, automatically this will populate the team leaders, and these are the associate names, executives who are actually coming under that specific team leader which you are going to select, and this image will also pop up and this graph will also change. I have got here a couple of the headers, short calls offered, how many calls offered on the IVR, and how many calls associate has answered, how many calls are transferred, how many calls got abandoned in the IVR, they did not get answer, how many times agent taken the short break, meal break, login hours not ready. Okay, now guys, one thing, please note it down. These are just the hypothetical numbers, right? For example, if you talk about the login hours, this is all coming in the seconds. So you have to, when you go and make the reports, please better you make it in the hour, minutes and the second format. Okay, I'm just here to give you the idea, okay, because this is not some report I have taken from someone. I have just created the dummy, and I'm here going to focus on the technique, on the formulas, and this is going to be majorly on the Excel. We are going to use the advanced Excel formulas here, but at the same time little bit of the coding is also we are going to use it. Okay, now just I'm gonna take quickly 10 seconds of yours. A lot of you have requested that you need to learn more about the dashboard. So if you are new to the channel, I have got here 50 plus playlists designed for you. Can you see that? They are all divided into Excel, VBA, Access VBA. These are all the different categories. Go and check out all these playlists, right? And if you're specifically looking for the dashboard, if you're good in the Excel, if you know the formulas pretty well, and you know a little bit of the VBA as well, then maybe you can go and check here a playlist called Excel Dashboard Making. So I have got here 33 videos, guys. Okay, so let's go and talk about this, how I have prepared this. Now before I do that, as usual, I'm going to show you how it works. Okay, now see this. If I go and select any the manager name from here, for example, I select Dheeraj Tahiwal. When I select the Dheeraj Tahiwal, you look at this, the team leader, this box is automatically changing. Okay, it shows me now Ajay and Chris. Now if I have selected Chris, for example, if the Chris is selected, these are all the Chris team members, and the graph is accordingly talking about that. So how many offered calls are coming here, answers are coming, and how many short calls are coming. So for the short calls we are using the y-axis, right, because short calls are always less than the number of the calls answered. So you can see here, I mean, Amitosh Reddy is someone who actually has the maximum short calls. That means that maybe we can speak to this guy. Short calls means that generally when you disconnect the calls. Okay, well, anyways, I will not get into the terminology, but I'm just going to give you the idea. Okay, and now if you look at this, I have created here a scroll bar. This is the beauty of this dashboard. You know what, if I just go and click here, you see that the dashboard is going to change. Can you see that the numbers, my names are actually going in the upward direction, and the same way the graph is also moving, right? It takes a little time because this file is actually heavy. You have used a lot of form controls here, but I think the kind of the work, if you going to make this sort of dashboard, nobody would mind to wait for maybe 1 or 2 seconds. It hardly matters. So if I just click on this scroll bar, you see that your list of the team is going to go in the downward direction. So this is working like the Excel scroll bar. Okay, so that means you can, now I have just got very few people listed here. I mean, if I see in the Chris, if I show you as I keep on going down, you know, this, so the last associate which I see is Sidhu S. Now maybe this is scroll bar, why I'm showing this, maybe I could have used all this space and this is not required, but in case if you have a long team, maybe 20, 25, 35, 50 members, you know, under one team leader, then I think this is the best, because you can just show all of those team members in these bunch of 7-8 rows. Okay, so let's go and talk about this now. And if you look at this, the image is also changing. So if I select the Ajay Pal, now see that my picture is also changing, and at the same time I have a now new list over here. Right now, why this is coming as blank, because you have to move this up. Maybe Ajay doesn't have that big team, so when you go and scroll it up, you get to see here the associate names, and as the name comes, you see that the list will, this chart will also start showing you the results. Okay, that's how it is. And if you just go and change this to maybe Ritu Dhawan, for example, you can see now, once you change the Ritu Dhawan, the team leader under this manager is Venkat Prasad, and now the Venkat Prasad list is coming over here. So when you click here again, you would find the number of the list of, you know, the people who are actually working under Venkat, right? So Rita Bhardwaj is the last one, right? And not only this, guys, this dashboard is also talking about the other things. For example, now what is this telling me? First of all, this is telling me my performance for the 16th of the May 2018. Now you would ask me, how come? Because if you look at this 2017 and 2018, these option buttons, they are not highlighted. Can you see that? And this is also coming as blank, right? Now what if I don't want to look at the month wise performance? I want to, sorry, not the date wise performance. I want to see the overall performance. Maybe I want to see month wise performance. So you have got here the month performances as well. So just go and click on these months. So let's say I want to look up the February performance. All right, you click on the February, and once you click on the February, now what is going to happen? Once you click on the February, you have to click here that which February we are talking about, right? Obviously this is not required now, so just keep this option, select this, and let's say I want to look at 2017 performance, the last year performance. Just go and select this, click here. Okay, it's gonna take little, you know, a little bit of the time, and then you see that the 2017 is selected. Now this performance is talking about the February. So in overall, Alan has short calls 57. So that means if he has presented for, let's say, 22 days, you know, in 28 days, keeping his offs, you know, excluding the offs, then these are the number of the calls. So this is basically your month till date. Okay, MTD performance, right? Now if I have to see, now you can see that I have done one thing. The moment I select this, you know, this date is going to be changed. This date now becomes 1st January 1900. Why I'm doing that? So that if somebody is looking at this, they can actually, your user can actually, you know, get the idea that what he or she is looking at it. Because if I put the date here of today or maybe anything, you know, then user will get confused at what he's looking. So now it's crystal clear that I'm looking Ritu Dhawan performance, and under the Ritu Dhawan manager we have a team leader Venkat Prasad, and then we have a 2017 year, and then we have the February. Okay, if I want to change this to February 2018, so I can go and click on the 2018, and once I click on the 2018, you see that I've got here the performance changed. So this is my 2018 performance, and if I go and click here on the 2017, this is going to be my 2017 performance. So let's go ahead and guys, let's discuss this big project, big dashboard, because we have to cover a lot of things, right? So first of all, I just go and double click on this. I'll show you. I have maximized the screen, but this is how, you know, exactly the Excel looks like, right? Now the very first thing which I want to do here is, you see that in this there is no formula bar coming, and there are no row numbers coming here, right? You don't see it. There is no horizontal scroll bar, there is no vertical scroll bar. So basically I have freezed everything. I have hidden it from my user, not because I actually wanted that the user should not use it, but it gives a good effect, right, to your presentation, to your dashboard. So the first thing which you need to do is, to do this is the first thing I'm telling you. Quickly note it down. Go to the file and click on the option, and in the option I'm using Excel 2016, but this works the same way in all the versions, right? So when you go to the customized when you click on this advanced option, here we have a lot of things. So I'm going to now click there, and we will have these all the changes reversed, right? So the first thing which I'm going to do is, just when you scroll it down here, you find all these options. For example, you need the horizontal scroll bar. So just click here. You need the vertical scroll bar. This is the vertical one, and this is here you have the horizontal scroll bar, right? This is a very simple thing I'm telling you. Actually, I should not really waste so much of time over here. This is a very basic thing in Excel. Show sheet tabs, because right now you see that I don't see any other sheet, right? So this dashboard is prepared obviously with some data. So I just click on the show sheet tabs, and this is your row and column headers, the row numbers and the column numbers. So I click here as well, right? And I think now we are good to go, and I just click OK, and we should be able to see all the things. Now you can see that I see my row numbers. I have here this horizontal bar, and then I have here this vertical scroll bar. One thing which is left, which is very important for you, that I still don't see the formula bar. So again, I go to the file and the option, and I just go and activate it, right? So you go to the again this advanced and click on this show formula bar, right? This is under the display section. All right, so this is the first thing, very important thing. I have covered it. Not important in the sense, I mean, but it is important from the sense that you should actually learn this art if you haven't if you're not aware of this option, because this makes your dashboard pretty cool, right? Okay, so now I've got the things back. Now what I want to do is I want to first of all quickly tell you that what is happening, how the data is coming, as I explained in my last video also on the database, right? Now guys, if you look at this data, see this data here. I have the employee IDs, okay? I have their the branch, the agent name, and the team leader, the manager, and the date. This is how the dates are coming. So basically we have all the data from 1st of January 2017 to 18th of May, okay? And we have this offered, how many calls offered for the day. So 1st of January 28 calls were offered, answered, and then short calls, and then you have the transfer, abandoned, short break. So what I'm trying to say is, don't go by these all headers, right? These are just the fake numbers, and you may not find them appropriate also. For example, you may find that somewhere I have 100 calls offered and the answered are 120, which is not possible. If you have 100 calls offered, your maximum answer can be 100. But again, I'm telling, this is not the real data. You have to learn the art, right? You have to see how we have designed it, okay? So these are the numbers. Now what I have done is, the first thing which I have done, I'm talking about this thing, that how I'm actually getting this control. Here when I click on this combo button, I get to see all the leaders, right? And by the way, one more thing, if you have noticed, whenever I click on this sheet, the ribbon goes hidden. So I have done some automation, okay? So let me just tell you this thing quickly. So we have done here a little bit of VBA. If you haven't done the VBA before, no problem, it's very simple. When you go to the developer tab, when you click on the Visual Basic, what I have done is, if you go to this sheet summary, because this is my summary sheet, if I double click here, I have created 2 events, guys. This is the first event, this is the second event, right? So I say that whenever this worksheet get activated, this has to minimize. So what is happening, when I click here, the ribbon goes minimized. And when I say that when the worksheet gets deactivated, which means when you click outside this, then this again get the minimize. So what happens, because it is already minimized, the next time it happened, the reverse, right? And that is the reason, guys, when you click on the data sheet, you see that, can you see that your ribbon is gone? When I click here, ribbon comes back, right? So reverse is happening. Now when I double click here and I make sure that the ribbon is hidden, now when I go and click on the data sheet, look at this, now it's coming back, right? So originally this is the plan, that when you go to the summary sheet, your ribbon should always go in the hidden mode, okay? So for the time being, because right now we are working on this, I go and simply comment this. So I will not do anything, I just go and comment this, okay? So if you want this Excel file, just let me know, I'll email it to you, and then please make sure you go here and uncomment that, right? So now this is the original file. So let's talk about this. So how I'm getting this manager. So what I did is I created this, I went to this developer tab, and the developer tab I click on the insert, and this is the combo button I have used here. So my combo button is this is the combo button, right? So I've used this combo button. So I'll just quickly show you how to draw these combo buttons, though I've explained it in my other videos also. If you go to the art of the dashboard making, so I click here and I say that I want the combo box, so I draw this combo button, right? This is how you draw the combo button. Now what you need to do is you just select this, make sure you are on the design mode, this should be activated, and right click here and say that the form control, right? So when you click on the form control, so you see that you don't so you just go and click on this window called the properties, and in the properties when this comes, so here you have an option here, this is the option here. You can say that what you want to actually fill, so the combo box should use which data, and this is another option that if I select something, that value should go, and if you want to insert that value somewhere in the cell, you can write the cell name, for example A1, A2, and blah blah blah, right? So this is how I have done it. Now I take you back to this summary sheet. So I'm on the design mode. You can see this means that I can edit it. If I now if I just go and select this, for example, I just go and first of all, let me go to that sheet and let me get out of this. So I'm out of this. You have to select somewhere. Now I come back here and I go and select this. Let's go and click on this, the properties. So I go to the property of this combo, and what I have done, you can see here, I said that my cell should be linked with the A1, which comes from the magic sheet. This is my magic sheet, guys. This is where I have created the pivots, the required pivots, and it's all because of the pivot matrix. Of course we are using a little bit of VBA also, but majorly it is on the advanced Excel formulas. The dashboard is built. So I say that you pick up this cell A1, and this is the range which is coming B4 to B10, which is coming from the magic sheet. Remember this point. Okay, now let's go to the A1 and the B4. So this is my magic sheet. This is where the magic is happening actually. You are getting everything in the dashboard. Now see this, guys, it's very simple actually. I just go and show you first of all this is where I have, you can see that this is where the Ritu Dhawan is coming, right? This is coming from the combo box. Okay, it's always good to put the information. So what is happening is, because I said that the cell which I'm going to use, I have linked the cell with the A1. So what happens, whatever you select here, that goes in the magic sheet here, right? This is the first thing. Now the second thing which I have done is, I'm trying to say that, look at this again, I go to the summary sheet, I say that the source, this should come from where? If you remember, this is going to come from B4 to B10. So what is your B4 to B10? If you go to the magic sheet, B4 to B10, this is your B4 to B10, right? So this is nothing, this is just a pivot. Okay, so if you look at this, if I show you show field list, what I have done, I have simply use the managers here in this row field. So it's picking up the data from the pivot and it's showing me all the managers, right? So this is the list I have given there. Okay, and one more thing, so when you give this range, you can also give the extra buffer. Right now I have given the range called B4 to B10. That means whenever the pivot gets refreshed, okay, if you have a new team manager, let's say in the team, the manager, and then when you refresh your pivots, what will happen, you will have that team manager coming here. So your range is extra, right? So you are going to use, so I have given this range till this point B10. That is the reason why I have given it. Okay, so we are using these managers there. You got the point? Now you would ask me that why I have linked A1 of this magic sheet with this cell. The reason is, see this, what happens, this is very important. Now I'm talking about this list box. So this is a list box. Okay, for example, how to create the list box, that's very easy. You just click on this insert and you go here in this, the list box. So this was your combo. So here you would find the list box. This is your list box. Just click here and draw it. For example, let me show you this, right? This is going to be your list box. Okay, so I create this in the different sheet. Let me go and cut this. Let's not do anything over here. Let's go with this sheet. So this is your list box. Okay, now list box also works in the same way. You go to the property of it, and from here what I have done, if you look at this one here, linked cell and the list fill range. Now I have kept these blank. You know why? Because I'm not going to connect this list box with any other ActiveX control. If you need it, then you can use this as well. Okay, so now what we are trying to do here is, I'll just show you. For example, now these linked cell and list fill ranges are coming blank because obviously I can go and link them. This is a new list box, but if you look at my existing list box over here and you go to the the property of this, you see that what I'm doing, I'm saying that what I select, that is going to be linked with the A59 cell, and the data is going to come from A12 to A20. Let us understand this, what I'm saying. I'm saying my list box is always going to use the data A12 to A20. Now go to the magic sheet. Let's go and check the A12. So this is where I'm, guys. Can you see that? I have highlighted this. This is coming Venkat Prasad, so that's a reason you see here Venkat Prasad. Okay, for example, I just click on this design mode again to off it. Now when I go and click, let's say Akhilesh. Now when you click on the Akhilesh, what will happen? You go to the magic sheet. Okay, you click on the magic. First A1 is coming Akhilesh because the value is taken from there, and then you have Mehboob and Prince. So this list is coming and this is directly going in my list box. Okay, now how that list is coming, because this is very simple to draw. What is the logic? Logic is very simple. Look at this, what I'm doing. If you look at this, I have used here offset functions, very powerful functions, right? I'm a big fan of offset functions. So now you have to understand this quickly. Now if I go and press F2, see this, what is happening. Now I'm saying that start from the A4, from this cell, okay, and then what I need to do. So my idea is, can you see these team leaders, guys? This is nothing, this is a pivot. This is a one pivot, this is a second pivot, and this is a third pivot, this is a fourth pivot. These all the pivots are created by me manually. Okay, so I've created all these pivots, and every this manager shows their respective team leaders, right? Like, so if I quickly show you how I have done it, right click here, show field list, and that's how you get to see the manager and the team leader. That's it. Now I want to check that which team leader is selected in my which manager is selected in my combo box. Okay, because accordingly, if I've selected, let's say Akhilesh, then this is Akhilesh, right? So that means if I start from here, then I have to move how many columns? This is a 0 column, because when you use the offset, this becomes 0. So I see that, so let's say I start from here. So I see that, now go and find out in this entire row, where is the Akhilesh Gupta? So it starts from here, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I got the 5. Now 5 minus 1 is going to take me to the 4th column, and from the 4th column, 0, 1, 2, 3. And then 3 row number and 4 row number and so on, right? So this is what I'm trying to capture using the offset function. So if you look at this, what I say, forget about this if function for the time being, right? This I've just said that if the value comes 0, then space. You have to focus on this offset. Okay, so because this and this are same, I'm just saying that if the output of this function is 0, then this formula should not show us 0, 0, 0. It should show us blank, and that's the reason it is showing me the blank. So let's go and try to understand this. So I'm saying that, look, you got to start from A4 first of all, from here, because I want to capture these all, my team leaders, these all names, right? So now what is going to happen, I say start from here, from A4, and then you got to move how many rows? Obviously row of A1, because row of A1 will return 1. So I'm saying that move 1 row down. But now here comes the important part, how many columns you got to move. So what I'm doing, I'm saying that A9 minus 2, this minus 2. Why? Because if you look at this A9, what it does, it's using the match function. So there is another function we are using. So what is happening, whatever value in the combo box in the manager, that combo box which shows the managers, whatever manager I get to see, right, that's going to look up by the match in this table. So we are saying that look up Akhilesh Gupta in this table. This is the table which starts from 2 to 2. So Akhilesh Gupta, wherever it is found, that's exactly the column which I want to target, but with the one twist. Akhilesh Gupta is coming little to the right side, because that's how my pivots are formed, right? So the team leaders are coming one column before, so that's why what I'm doing is I'm subtracting -1 from it. Okay, so the output which comes here, that returns me 6. So if you start and finding the position of Achilles from here, what is the position? 0 1 1 2 3 4 5 6, right? So you got the 6 here, great. But for offset, this is not the 6th. You know, offset starts with 0. So if I start from here, because I want to, you know, go to this team leader, this one, Mehboob Alam. So if I start from here, right, so how many columns I have to move? This is the offset, 0 1 2 3 4, you know, right? So 4. That's why what I'm doing is, first it is because of the 0 that I have to subtract 1, and then because my column, actually this is you know, one step ahead of this team leader, so that's why I'm subtracting 1 more. So that is the reason you find here that I'm saying that A9 minus 2, right? So this is, I mean, you can twist, you can adjust according to your you know, setup, what you think. You can do all these tweakings, but I'm just explaining you how I did that. So what happens, basically the idea is we are just going to capture whatever comes here from the combo box, and we will go and find out, you know, that person in this row number, and through that we are capturing the column number. If I go and select the Dheeraj, you know, this Dheeraj Tahiwal, so for example, if you go quickly to this and you go and select, let's say, Dheeraj, so what happens in the A1 cell, the Dheeraj goes. Okay, so when you have the Dheeraj in this magic sheet, you can see here your position automatically changes. So now you say that you have to go to the 9th column. 9 minus 2 means 7. So offset starts from here, 0 1 2 3 4 5 6, you know, 7 and whatever. I mean, it's coming, right? 9 minus, so 9 minus 2 is going to be, I think, 7. So once again I start from here. Let's say I start from here. So this is 0 1 2 3 4 5 6 and then 7, right? So 9 minus 2 makes it 7. So I'm basically targeting that column, and from that column, what I'm saying, just go 1 row down, because there I have Ajay Pal. This is how it is. If you go and drag this, drag this formula, you see that what I've done is, now here the formula remains same, right? You have frozen this A4, and at the same time now your row number is A2, because row of A2 will return 2. So that means you are actually going in the second row. So basically it's just the movement we are giving, right? So we are capturing where is the, you know, manager, and after the manager we are subtracting -1, so that we come on this -1 again, because offset starts with 0. And finally we have, once we have got the column, which is this column, you know, in case of Dheeraj, then we are saying that now here we will, in this particular cell, we will capture the row number 1, and in this we will capture the row number 2 and 3 and 4 and so on, right? And remember why I'm saying row number 1, because guys, your reference starts from here. This is your reference, A4. So from A4, if you have to go, you can see here, this is on the first the row number first, right? That's why we are saying that, because if you have to go to this Mehboob or maybe Ajay, right now you're on the row number 4, and they are all coming in the row number 5, because row number 4 holds the team leader position. That's why I'm using row A1 and A2, A3 and so on. You can see here now we have row A3, row A4 and A5. So this process goes like this. So wherever you have a list of, for example, if I show you this quickly, here we have this this team leader manager Ritu Dhawan. So if I go and quickly select this Ritu Dhawan, you see what's going to happen. So once I have the Ritu Dhawan, then what happens? Venkat comes. Venkat, why Venkat comes? Because if in your magic sheet, what happens? Your offset is able to reach out to this person. And since there is no other value over here, so what happens? You just go and say Venkat. Now what was happening when I was you know, using this formula, these cells were giving me 0, because there was nothing below the Venkat. So what I did is I said that if the output of this function is going to be 0, then space, otherwise just use the function. And that's why guys, you don't see here now anything, which gives a good effect, because otherwise if you will have 0 0 0 here, you know, in your this here in the Venkat Prasad, after the Venkat Prasad you will have 0 0 0, which is not going to give you a good look. Okay, so this is the reason we have used this. And so now this important thing is covered. Okay, now what is the next thing I have done? Now the next thing I have done is how to populate these names. Okay, and how to create this scroll bar. What is the magic behind this scroll bar? Now guys, this scroll bar is nothing. If you just go and, you know, insert here a scroll bar, so here we have got this the scroll bar. This is the scroll bar. So when I click here on this scroll bar and let's go to the sheet 1, I draw this like this. This is how the scroll bar comes here. Okay, this is your scroll bar. So that's how you program it. So you can, let me just click on this design, unclick it. So here you click and this is how it works. Right now it's not doing any action here, right? Because you have to program it, not program, I mean you have to do some certain settings over here. Okay, that's how basically it works. So now what we have done, I click on the design mode, and when you click on this, so it also has its property obviously. So when you go in this the property of this, and you just go and click on this max and the min, look at this. Here we have a linked cell. So what I did is I said that link this cell with this, let's say for example. So here I say that I just want to link this maybe with the A1 for example, right? That's it, what I wanted it. Okay, and then I close this. I click on the design again, uncheck it, right? Deselect it. Now click here. Can you see that? What is happening here? When you click here, your scroll bar is changing all these numbers. So with every click the number is incrementing, right? Now you don't see this moving, but this is moving if you look at it carefully. Now why you don't see this moving so fast? Because of the reason that I have put the maximum value. I did not actually use any maximum value. So the maximum value which it is using, it's a big value. Okay, so let me just go and show you what I mean. So select this, go to the property. Now what happened, it says that how many maximum clicks you need. In other words, you can say that. So I need 32,000 clicks, which is, obviously will not show you that movement. I mean, the movement will come very slow. But if I, let's say that the maximum is 10, that means you are saying that for every, if you click 10 times, you will have this scroll bar at the end of this. Okay, so let's go and check that. I make it 10 and I close this and I click on the design mode again to deactivate it. Now you can see that my value is 10, so this is in the end. And if I click here, now can you see that scroll bar is so quickly moving, right? So this is how, guys, you keep on clicking here and the scroll bar is going to move like this. Okay, so this is the same thing I have done here. Okay, so if we come to this summary sheet, I have created this. So I have just colored it. If I go to the design mode, if I just select this, I show you what I've done. If I go to the properties, I said that the cell should be linked with A17. So I'll show you what I'm doing here, and I said the back color has to be this one. So you can click here, you can choose all these colors. So that's how you can give this a color, and the forecolor I've kept it white for these arrows. Okay, now this, if you ask me that why you have used here A17, now here is a magic, here is a hidden magic. Now if you go down here, what I'm doing is I'm doing certain settings. Obviously to make this sort of dashboard you have to do a lot of hard work, right? So you go here and make this, I just given them the white font. Now look at this very carefully, guys. You got to be very good in offset if you want to do this sort of things, right? Now what I'm doing is I'll just go and make it 90%. Now look at this. This is coming here as 0. You remember this scroll bar was linked with the A17. So A17, so that means when you don't touch anything here, this always remains as 0, right? And then what I am doing is after this, I'm just adding 1 to it, 0 plus 1 and so on, right? So I have kept this up till 18. So you can do all this according to your database size. Now I'll tell you why I'm doing all this. First of all, make sure that when understand this thing, that for every click what will happen, this will change, because this is directly linked. The rest of the cells are not linked. The rest of the cells are linked with this A17, but the A17 is linked with this scroll bar click. Okay, so now when I deselect this design mode, if I click here, for example, see this, when you click here, this becomes 1, right? This becomes 1. Can you see that? Because you clicked one time. If this becomes 1, rest of the values became 2, 3, 4, 5. And when I again click here, you see that this becomes 2. Now when this becomes 2, rest of the values became 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 and so on, right? It's going to take a little time because obviously a lot of calculations are happening. Now you can see it's 3, 4, 5, 6. So what is happening? What is the logic here? Now you see that these are actually acting as my offset row numbers, right? Now if I click back here, I just go on the top. Now why this Alan is coming here? Now you know that, guys, we have already talked about the Ritu and the Venkat. Now in the Venkat, these are my guys. Okay, now if you go to the magic sheet, what I have done here, here, look at this. In the A62 cell, I'm creating my all the pivots. This is my first pivot, which shows me the team leader Ajay, Pal, and then associates working under him. Then the Chris team is there. These are all the pivots. I have just given them the different colors. So this is the third pivot. This is the fourth pivot. This is the fifth pivot. Same way like we created the managers, the pivots, and then we created the team managers with the sub manager with their team leaders. Now I'm creating team leaders with the associates, right? So we have got all the team leaders over here and their name is there. Now this is on the A62. First of all, understand now what happened. If you look at this, this is coming as Venkat, right, from where it is getting picked. So this Venkat, if you go to the design mode of this, remember I told you that this list box is linked with a cell. So you want to see that which cell it is linked. So I go and show you. Look at this, A59. So in the A59, whatever you select here, if you have multiple team leaders coming, that will simply go here in this magic sheet. This is, and now what I'm doing, I'm again going and finding out the position of this Venkat. So this match is picking up this and it's going in this pivot where we have created all the pivots. Please create the pivots in the same row, otherwise you will have a problem. So we are trying to find it out that if I start from 62, A62, and I go in this entire row, where this team leader is going to be, and again I'm subtracting -2 from it, okay, to level the things, right? So finally it returns me 9. So if you start from here and look at the Venkat position, it's actually, if it's actually coming as 11, but -2 makes it 9. So for offset, this is going to work for us. Again, the same concept, because you are one step ahead of the agent, so you have to -1 it, and because offset starts from 0, so if I start from 0, because your formula match doesn't start from 0, so to balance it out I'm subtracting 2. Okay, makes sense? So finally we are able to find it out that where is my team leader located, and obviously by locating this 9th, it means that I'm basically on this column. Now from this column, how many rows you are actually supposed to move? So if you go here, if you look at this formula carefully, right, it says that you have to start from A62. Okay, you have to start from A62. So if I go and start from A62, that means to reach to this associate or any associate, how many rows, guys, I have to move? This is 0, this is 1, this is 2, this is 3, right? So I'm saying that from here, move 3 rows down and go to the column which is going to return by the match. So 3 rows down and the 9th column. So obviously you would be here. And then 4th row down, but the same column, which is 9. Then 5th row, 6th row, and so on, right? So this is what I have done. I have set that +3 because this is my row parameter for the offset function. Again, I'm saying that if the output of this is going to be 0, show it as space, otherwise just use this function. So that's how I'm able to capture my name, all the associates. So this is the reason, guys, that so when you see this scroll bar moving, for example, when I click here, see what happens. Basically when you click here, this scroll bar goes down and this row number becomes 1, right? Now actually what is happening, if you see the formula here, the formula simply says that you now have to move how many rows. So if I just go and press F2, I show you, see this, what is happening. Basically now it says that you're going to link this A23 +3, that means 7 + 3, which is going to make it 10. So basically you are moving 10 rows from A62. So wherever you find there is no data, there is no associate name in this magic sheet, you find that as empty. So this is what the offset is doing. Now when you click here, basically you find that you feel that the agents are moving up, but they are not moving actually, they are just getting overwritten. That's the magic of this scroll bar, right? Because it's not moving. What is happening, these numbers are keep on changing with every click, and if these numbers are going to change, obviously these numbers are being used in the row parameters. So here you are still here, you're standing here, but now you say that I got to go 10 rows down. But when you again click here, this this 7 is going to change to what? This number 7 is now 8. So what is happening now, your offset, which was calculating 7 + 3, it's gonna calculate now 8 + 3. So overall the effect looks like this, that you're moving actually up. That is the reason, right? So why I have created this, because I do not want that if I have 50 associate names, then I should use 50 rows, right? For example, the you will have more visibility here if I just go and select a team leader who has a long list. So maybe I think the Chris holds a long list. I click on the Chris. I just show you. Look at this now. Right now when I click here, so what happens, first my this associate comes Anchal, and then Ajay, and then Akan, and then Amita, and so on. If I have to see more people, so I can click here. So what happens, this 1 2 3 4 numbers, they keep on changing with every click, and offset is going to use those as a row number. So offset it's all about the movement. So that's how you're giving this kind of a good effect, that basically it's scrolling up, but it's not, it's just overwriting. That's the magic of this scroll path, activex control. Okay, and finally here what we are doing, well, here it's very simple. I won't take much time on that. So I have actually, if you look at this, what I have done to make my things pretty simple, what I am doing is, first of all, I'm using the index function here. Okay, so index function is doing what? Index is capturing this person, and it's going in the table, in the pivot, and it returns the numbers for you. But these numbers, before it returns, it further checks whether the 2017 is selected or 18 is selected, or which month we have. So what I'm doing here is, to calculate this, you need to understand one thing. I go and show you here. So let me just go and decrease the height of this. So I go up a little. Now look at this. And for the time being, I just go and put this. I'll come to this as well. So now guys, I want to show you something. See this. This is my image, the color. I'm just going to shift it, right? So move here, let's say. So this is your Excel, right? I have just inserted the image to give it a good formatting effect. Look at this. This is your actually what is happening in the background, right? Now here I have 2017 because I've selected 2017. If I go and select this option button, which is 2018, you see that it comes here as 2018. Okay, first thing. Now how I have created it, again, you just go and draw these option buttons from there, activex control, and go to the property and just link that cell with this D17. So D17, I have linked that cell. So that means whatever value you will have in that is going to be used here. So that means if I'm saying D17, let me show you. If I'm saying D17, and if I go here as well, then if I just go and take you to the design mode, this property of this 2000 option button 18, then if you look at this, this is also linked with the E17, right? So E17 is what? E17 is, if E17 is going to be somewhere here, this one, right? So I go and make this black font. So you have the true here. Now see what is happening here, and this is the false. Okay, so how this 2018 is coming? So what happens when you select any of this option button, because this is in the option buttons, what happens, you can't select both the option buttons at the at the same time. So if I select 2017, my 2018 will go off. So what is happening, the option button which you are selecting, that is going to be shown here as true. So I said that 2017 my option button should be linked with my D17, and 2018 is linked with the E17. So that's, now you can see 2017 selected, we have true. It is not selected, we have false. The moment I select 2018, this becomes true, and this becomes false. So I'm simply saying that I'm using the if condition, that if this is going to be true, then show here 2017, and if it is not the case, then show here as 2018. That's it. Simple, very simple concept, right? And if both of them are not selected, then just show here any, right? So this is the first thing. Now similarly, I have created here one more combo box. In this combo box, what I'm doing, I'm using Jan, Feb, March, April, all in this the source. So I've just used this. If you go to the property of this combo, it's picking up the range which is D18 to D29. This is the range I have written. You can write this anywhere, right? So this is what it is picking, the month, because I have a data Jan through December. So it is using this way, right? Now let's talk about this one. This is very important. this is my date calendar. How you insert the date calendar when I click on this, right? So depending upon your 64-bit or the another bit you have 32, this may come in the difference, because this calendar comes in the two forms, right? So maybe you have this calendar or maybe you have the another, but you can program the things. I'll give you the idea. So how you go and create this, I go in the design mode, and in the design mode, in the insert under the developer tab, just click on this, right? More controls. When you click on the more control, here you find a calendar control. So let me just click here, and you can see that. So we have this list coming here. So these are all the controls which sometimes we don't use it. That's why they are always in the hidden mode, right? So you can use this date and time picker control, right? This is going to create this sort of the calendar. Okay, so there are multiple things over here, guys. So I have used the date and the time picker control. Okay, depending upon your version you may have a different control, but you can use this, right? So just click here, and then you will have the calendar. Just draw it. Once you have drawn it, you can give the different colors. Go to the property of it. Now you can see that I have given the calendar back color is black. I can go and choose all these different colors, and then faux color and all that stuff. Okay, this is important. Now in here also we have a linked cell property. So what I said, whatever value you will user selects here, it has to go to the B17. So if you look at in the B17, I have got the date here, the same date which my user is going to select. So this shows as, so let's just go and first of all get rid of this design mode. And now what I do is, for example, I go and click here. Let's say this is my today date, right? Because right now you're on 1900, so don't click on these arrows because it's gonna take a lot of time for you to go to the 2017. Just go and click on today date. That's gonna take you to the today date. So when you select that date, you see that this date comes here. Obviously we don't have a data for the 21st. My data does not have this data, right? So this is how you can actually use the shortcuts. Now why I'm using this, so what happens now, look at this, guys. If I go and change this to, let's say, 17th of May. Now what I'm doing is, when my user selects the date, everything has to go off. No month, no year, because now my user wants to check the day-on-day performance. So we are removing all this. So what I have done, if you go to the design view of this, right, if you go to the view code, okay, what I'm doing is, in this view code, I'm just trying to write a simple VBA code. So let me show you. Let's go a little up. So yeah, so you can see here, guys, what I'm doing. This is very interesting, right? So we are creating an event here, right? So when you go to the view code of this, just go and select this DT picker. This is the date picker, right? This is the name of this by default, and just go and use the change event, right? So just 2 lines you are writing here, 3 lines actually. So you're saying that, look, what I want to do is, D17 E17 should be blank and the combo box should go blank, right? So obviously, guys, what happens when this D17, this value, can you see here, initially we were seeing these cells as true and false. Both are removed from here. So if both of them are going to be removed, then obviously these option buttons will go off. That's the logic. And then this combo button is also blank. So that's what I'm doing, right? So this is what is happening here, right? Now and you can see here, it also shows here NA, because I put the formula that if D17 is true, then show 2017, and if it is E17 is true, which means this cell is true, then obviously that means 2018 is selected. Otherwise, if nothing is true, then show NA, right? Now on this basis, you are actually, this formula is working. Okay, now let's go and see that how this is happening. Now to make my work easy, and this is what the advanced Excel users, they do, this is the trick they use, right? They always create the name manager so that they don't have to go to the sheet and keep on selecting the data. So I have created here, I'm using the index function, right? So what I'm saying is, if you look at this formula carefully, I'll try to explain this. So this is a formula, right? This formula looks long, but it's very easy to write it, right? The first thing I'm saying that if A7 is going to be 2017, this A17, then what should happen? So let me click back here in the 2000s, this 17, click here, you got the 2017, makes sense. Now obviously when 2017 comes, then in the 2017 which month you going to get. So that's it, I am looking for the Jan. So you got here Jan, you got here 2017. So now what is happening here, guys, I'm saying that if it is 2017, then index has to go and work with the month wise 2017 range. Now what is a month wise 2017? This is a name manager I have created here. Let me go and show you this. See this month wise 2017. So when I click on this 2017, this is the entire range which I am using. You can see here, look at this. This is the range which starts from, I think, D2. Yeah, this is the range, right? So this is my pivot actually. In this pivot, what I'm doing, I'm simply, and this pivot I've created in the separate sheet, not to complicate the things. So I'm saying that here I should get the year 2017 data agent wise, and for all the, you know, months. So if I just scroll it down, you see that here we have all the months coming. So I have grouped the dates. I have converted them into months because I don't need the date here. I need here the monthly performance, right? So this is going to stop at December. Look at this. June, July, August, September, October, and once this finishes, I'm again now using the another pivot, which is couple of rows leaving, you know, keeping the blank. I'm using 2018. So I've just used the 2018 pivot, and I'm saying that I need the offered, answered, short calls, whatever you have. I have just used all those things which are going in the dashboard. That's it, right? And in the 2018 we are just summing them, right, for this associate. But the point is now, guys, how will you come to know that which agent has picked up, you know, for example, Anchal Sharma has picked up the call whether for 2018 January or 2017 January, right? So that's why what we are doing, first we created these two pivots, and here if you look at this, I'm using an external formula column helper. What I'm doing is I'm just concatenating Anchal Sharma with January and with 2018, and all these items are concatenated like this. Why we are doing this? Because this makes these all identities unique. Now I can say that instead of looking Anchal Sharma, I will say that look up Anchal Sharma Jan 2018, which is crystal clear that you want to find out Anchal Sharma person in the January but in the 2018. That's it. And that's the same thing I have used here. You can see here we have got 2017, 17, all the name and the, you know, month combinations are using here, right? This is the first thing you are doing. And one more thing I'm doing here, which is very important, because, you know, if you are going to look up the Anchal Sharma offered calls, for example, you are going to look up Anchal Sharma Jan 2017 offered calls. How will you come to know that this is here? So what I've done to make my work simple, not to do this using the VLOOKUP, I have added here all the headers. This is offered, this is answered, this is short call, this is transfer, abandoned, and the same thing I've used here also. If you look at this in the 2018, I have created these headers. Now these are the same headers which we are using here, so that match function can go and locate the position. So if you look at this formula now, what we are saying, we are simply saying that index go in the month wise. You remember the month wise, that's the entire table. In that table, what you need to do, you need to find out the row number of this person, not just this person. It's gonna be Amita Thakur concatenated with 2017 concatenated with A7, which is this. So basically Amita Thakur January 2017, right? If you go and see this in the formula, if you click on the evaluate formula, that's what you see. So A7 is my 2017. I click here, it becomes true. Now look at this. This entire thing is going to be calculated. This is my index array. Obviously in the array I will go and I will figure out what is the column number and the row number. I hope you guys know the index function, right? Because this is very important. So obviously this is a dashboard, so this is not a basic series. So once you go in this range, then what will happen, you're this Amita Thakur, and then click on the evaluate. See this, guys. So finally now you are calculating the Amita Thakur January and 2017. This combination you are checking where? In the same column, name 2017. To make my work simple, I am again using name 2017 as another table, right? Because match is going to look up. I could have also written that you go and look up this in this table from D4 to, you know, D471, because this is where that combination is coming, right? So if you go and see that this name 2017, this is the table. Writing name 2017 is far easier than going and selecting all this manually. And same way, guys, I have created name 2018 as well. This is for the 2018 list, right? Because obviously using the index, you want to target that Amit, you know, this person which is Amit Thakur 2017 January is on which row number, right? So once you capture the row number, the next thing, let's say Amit is coming over here. We got that. Now what do we need to do? We have to go to this column if it is offered. We have to go to answered if the this column if it is answered. We have to go to this column if it is short call. So what is happening now, I've created one more header which is called this my header. If you look at this month header 2017, look at this. This is my range I have created. So now what will happen, my match function, if you come back to this summary sheet here, you in this index function, if you understand one index, the rest indexes are same. So just try to understand this thing. I'm saying that index, go in that entire database. In that database, find out the combination of Amit Thakur 2017 Jan and return the row number. And once you return the row number, now go and find out to get the column number, right? Because I have to find out the column number of this short call. Now go and pick up this B8. B8 is what? Short calls. So short call match is going to look up where? In the month header 2017 table, which I was telling you, and you will have then position. So finally your match is going to return you a row number and a column number, which we will go and check in the table called month wise, and that's how from there it's gonna capture the short call, right? Just take care of all these referencing what you want to freeze, short call Amit Thakur 2017 January. Just take care of all those things, freeze them properly. All right, and so what if the 2017 is not there? So my next nested if works here. Now it says that if it is not 2017, then let's go and check the 2018. Now for the 2018, again the same formula applied, but just that now the name managers are changed, as I was telling you, right? So you have 2018, right? So once this is also done, now what is the next thing I would like to do? Now you see, for 2017 this is the formula, and for 2018 this is the formula, right? So now eventually if it is not even 2018, then what to do? Then in this index the another index starts. Well, if it is not 2018, if it is not 2018, that means user is looking actually for the daily database. So in that case, now index will go in the date wise and look up what? Look up this. If you look at here, look up what? B18 and A9. So what is my B18, guys? If you go and check that, so my B18 is where? My B18 is, can you see that? This is my B18, which is coming here as 2. I'll tell you what exactly it is. So basically, understand the concept, guys. Very simple. If you are looking for the daily data, right? So I come back here and I just go and select some date here. So I go and click here. I select, let's say today date, okay? Or maybe to check the data, I go and select let's say 10th of May, right? You got the numbers. These are the daily numbers. Now what happened, if you look at this carefully, you selected 10th of May. I told you this number we are capturing here, right? We got the 10th of here. Now what happens when the date comes here, the date entered here as a text because it's coming from this activex control. So what I'm doing is I'm just using the date value function to convert this text into a number so that I can look up the things. Now the important point is, if I have selected this date, this becomes NA and there is no month coming here. So obviously you don't need to go in the year matching. Now what you, in that case, what you need is, you just want to see that Amita Thakur on this date, this 4320, or you can say in other words on 10th of May, what was her performance. That's it, guys. You don't need the combinations now because you're looking for the daily dates, not any month or any year, right? So now it goes in the another table, which is what? Date wise. Again, I've tried to make my life simple. I just using the date wise another table. So you click on the date wise, it shows you this magic sheet. So here again I'm using the same pivot, guys, same pivot, but it's just the date coming here. There's no grouping here. I'm just going to, grouping means right click and group. You have this option of group. So when you click on the group, what happens, it asks you can convert this dates into month, quarter, right? I hope you all know that option. It's a very famous and very useful option, right? So I have got all these numbers, and here also what I'm doing, I'm just trying to make the unique combination, because you may have two Anshul Sharma, okay? Or maybe if you, even if you don't have, but Anchal Sharma is coming 22 days in a month, you know, so how you will come to know which month you have to, which date you have to pick, right? Obviously when you go and concatenate that person with the date, that makes it unique. Here again the offered answered is coming, so it's very simple. The thing is, the logic is, if you have a date selected, just go in this magic table and pick up that agent's performance for that date. If it is not the case, then go and check which year and which month is selected, and just go and use that combination of trio and go in this another pivot, which is the year magic pivot, right, depending upon whether it is 2017 or 2018. So that's how this entire story works here. Okay, this is how this entire thing works. Now the another part which is very important, how this graph is coming. Well, the graph is pretty simple, guys. I had just created this column chart with this line graph. So what it does, it just picks up the 3 items from here. You know, these rows will remain fixed, only the numbers will keep on changing. So when the number changes, the graph automatically changes. So I'm just using this data, nothing, I don't think so I have to explain much here, right? But yes, one thing, because short calls have a different pattern, offered answers are the different pattern. Obviously short calls would be in 1 2 3 4 numbers, right? So instead of showing them in the same axis, that would not be looking good, because if you try to display everything in this primary axis, you won't be able to show this shortcuts because your offered answers are pretty high. So what I did is I just created the secondary axis. So when you go and create any graph, you know what you need to do is, so when you create this graph, initially all these numbers would come same, right? For example, if I just copy this and let me show you, maybe some of you may not be having this idea. So if I go and just paste this, all right, so let's say this is your data, guys. Okay, now this is this is not actually, you know, a data which is a properly structured data. I mean, here one data is coming in just 1 or 2s, and the another data is quite, you know, bigger. So what will happen when you go and create the chart on this? So when I go and create the chart on this, see what happens. I go and insert the chart. So I just use this trick. I just said that, you know, let me give this a column chart. Now you see that this is what I was talking about. So what happens, your offered answers are coming, but the another numbers, because they are very less, you know, comparatively to the offered answer, so they're not going to show up here properly. So what is the use of it? So what I did is I said that let's go to the format, okay, and let's go and choose the, you know, from this chart area, let's go and select that the short calls, right? So this is my short calls, and when I select this, just click on the format selection. Let's go and put that in the secondary axis. So I said secondary axis I need it, so secondary axis is created. Right now, this is not, your job is not yet done, because when you have the secondary axis created, this will not try, in fact this will overlap, you know, try to hide the other offered and the answer. So you got to play here a trick. So what we will do is we go in the design mode, don't click anywhere, just keep your selection like this, don't do any click anywhere, right? Just say that okay, so let's change the chart data type. Click on the chart data type. If you're using 2007 or 2010, you won't see this window. So that you can do simply, you know, by selecting this is already selected, so just go to the change you know, chart type and use this line graph. For me, because I'm using 2016, what I do is, I think in 2013 also we have the same window. So here we simply say that look, the short call has to be line graph. So I just go and choose this line graph. That's how, this is the trick, guys. So rest of the things remains as column clustered. So now it is justified. So somebody, if I look at this, they can refer to the secondary axis. So that's what I have done here, right? So numbers will automatically change once the data is going to change. Now here comes the another very interesting thing, how this image is changing actually. Okay, now for this, guys, make sure if so first you go and put your all the images somewhere in your folder. So what I have done is, I show you, I put all these different images in my D drive. Okay, now what is happening, what I'm saying is, if you look at this carefully, let me take you back to this list box. Obviously, guys, when I click on Ajay, then image has to be changed. When I click on Chris, again it has to be changed. And when I, you know, again go and select another manager, and so the point is, whenever the team leader name changes, then you have to change this image. So I have written here a beautiful code, which I go to the view code, that whenever there is a change in the list box, okay, whenever there is a change in the list box, this is what you have to do. See this. So I'm saying that if the list box A59 value is going to be Chris. You remember this list boxes values where they are going. They're going in the magic sheet, and here we have that A59, which we are capturing to, you know, get these associate names. So here I have Chris now. So I'm simply saying that if here you have a Chris, because directly you can't link the list box, you have to store the link list box value somewhere. So that's why we are saying that if this value is Chris, then this is the line which you should understand, guys. What WS is nothing. WS is my summary sheet. In the WS, OLA object linked, this we call it OLA object image1 dot object dot picture has to come from the std function dot load picture. Load picture is basically a function which you're going to use, and this comes under the VBA class called std function. So just go and give the path here d:/1 jpg. So I'm just using the if functions, right? If it is Ajay Pal, then just go and use this d:/2 .jpg. Now if you would ask me that, Ajay, what is this image1? Guys, image1 is another control we have created here, because obviously you have to put that image somewhere, right? So what I have done is, if you go to the insert, if you go to this activex control, here we have this image. So you just go and draw it like this. This is how it comes, right? So that's how. Let me show you in another sheet. Maybe it's fine. So you can see here, this is the image, right? It's totally blank. So if it is a static image, you can go to the property also, and you just go and find it out. There is an option over here which actually can picture. We can use this picture. So just click on this picture, this ellipsis button, and then this will take you to the your desktop. That the dialog box would come, and from here you can load the picture, okay, any picture which you want, right? So I have created all these picture, but this will make it static. I don't want it static, so right. And by the way, image1 is the name of my control, right? This image which I have created, if you go to the properties, they all have activex controls, they name. So this is my image1, right? So now you understand image1 actually is found in this OLA object, right? So that's why you write worksheet is my sheet summary. This is very important line, that's why I've written it here. So I'm saying that in my sheet OLA objects, under that OLA object there is an image1 control, and that object has to be get the picture using this code. Okay, well, I found this on the Google, honestly speaking. I never used this option, so I wasn't having any idea, but it took almost 5 minutes for me to search on that, right? And then I was able to make this code. So this is a simple if condition. That's why whenever there is any change in the list box, your image changes. Okay, so that's how we have done it. Now one thing, if you look at this, I have put some here, if change made equals to 1, then exits. What happens? So guys, what actually is happening, this change made variable is a variable which we have created on the top here. Okay, this is my module level variable. Now what is happening is that when this image loaded in this, according to the team leader, what happens, this event automatically fires again, because of the loading picture. But the next time it fires, it should not work. Actually it should not, again go and start working loading the picture, because I have already got my picture loaded, right? So basically what is happening, when you load the picture, the event again list box change happens to fire, right? So in order to avoid that, what I have done is, I said that, look, when you go and run this code, the first time change made obviously is going to be empty. So this condition will never satisfy, so you will not exit. But once you go through this code, change made is going to be 1, and then after loading the picture, when this event again fires, it goes back here and it finds that now the change made variable is 1, so it exit. This is the trick I'm using here. That's it, right? So people who know the VB events, they know this. Otherwise, people who do not know the VB, they can simply just go and use this. But remember, I've created this on the top. This is a module level variable. You can't use the local variable here, because local variables automatically gets destroyed. Okay, so I think that's it, what is happening in this entire project. So this is how it is, and I hope you have enjoyed this session. So guys, next time when you go and think, you will have now better ideas to invent your own dashboards, right? If you need this dashboard, don't just wait, just give your email ID to me and I will send it out to you. Alright, subscribe to the channel, share the channel videos, and I hope you would go and share your feedback as well. Thank you so much. I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.